the negative value to supply the constant current to the load. This process is nothing but a commutation process. Already we know that one. Now here it is also nothing but a magnetically neutral axis. Magnetically neutral axis. Magnetically neutral axis is nothing but a, there is no flux linking with the coil in this position. There is no dynamically induced voltage in the coil. That is the meaning of magnetically neutral axis. Magnetically neutral axis is nothing but a, it is the axis at which there is no flux linkage with the coil. So when the coil is coming at this position, there is no flux linking with the coil. There is no flux linking with the coil. There is no dynamically induced voltage in a coil. There is no dynamically induced voltage in a coil. But the current will be changing from the positive to the negative in the commutated coil. See here, the two things are happen. One is in the coil, no dynamically induced voltage. No dynamically induced voltage. Second one, the coil has a some number of turns. It has a some amount of length of the conductor. It has some cross section area. Nothing but every coil has a some amount of the self inductance. Self inductance. Because of the self inductance, when the current is changing from the positive to the negative value, there is some amount of voltage will be induced in the commutated coil. That voltage is nothing but a reactance voltage. Reactance voltage. It is very, very important. See here, reactance voltage is nothing but a, this voltage is induced in the commutated coil because of current is changing from the positive to the negative value, and the coil has its own inductance, self inductance, because of self inductance. See here, this voltage is induced in the coil because of changing current. According to Lenz's law, this voltage is opposes the changing of current in a coil, which is going to the commutation process. Nothing but changing of current through the commutated coil. See, this is important here. So when this voltage is opposing the changing current through the coil, commutated coil, suppose here we have taken this is the commutated coil. These are the commutator segments which are connected here. This is the commutator segment. This is the brush position. Sorry, this is the commutator segments. This is the brush position. Observe this diagram. This is the brush position. At final position, if you observe means this is the coil 1. This is the coil 1. When the brush is leaving the segment, nothing but if this brush is moving from this point, nothing but the commutation of the coil 1 is completed. At that time, the current in the coil becomes a minus negative value, nothing but a negative of the maximum value. So because of the reactance voltage, it is opposing this current, so that even the brush is leaving this segment, the current reversals in the coil will not be completed. This is important here. Because of the reactance voltage, the current in the coil may not reach the negative maximum current even though the brush is leaving the commutated coil. So when the brush is leaving the commutated coil, if it is not completed means, suppose here minus 10 amperes. See here 8 amperes. Minus 8 amperes. Remaining 2 amperes of current is trying to jump from the commutator segment to the brush in this manner. Because the brush is leaving this segment, when the current is jumping to the brush through the commutator segment and A, there is a spark will be occurs here. Spark. When the spark is occurred here, it causes to disturb the both brush as well as a commutator segment. When the spark is occur here, nothing but a spark is occur here, the pits will be occurs on a surface of a commutator. So finally, if the spark is more, the spark is more, that arc will be extended to the throughout surface of commutator. Sometimes the machine will be burns out. The machine will be burns out. This is happen due to the reactance voltage. Up to here we are. This is the armature. This is the armature. This is the shaft. On the shaft, commutator is there. This is the commutator. It is also cylindrical nature. This is the shaft. This is the shaft. This is the commutator. The surface area, because the brushes are placed here, the surface area will be spoiled. Some cases, if the fire extinguished the extended the throughout the commutator segment, the machine also will be burns out. The machine also will be burns out. Now we are going to see the how much is the reactance voltage in a commutator coil. In this diagram, this is the coil which is placed on the armature, which is rotating. Those are coils are connected to the commutator segment. On the commutator segments, these two are the brushes. These two are the brushes. This one as well as this one is the brush. So whatever the current is coming from the armature to the commutator segment, the current will be coming to the brushes during the commutation process, so that the current through the load is always constant, nothing but a DC current or DC power. DC current, nothing but a DC power. Now here we are going to calculate how much is the reactance voltage. This is the formula for the reactance voltage. L is nothing but a self-inductance of the coil. Self-inductance of the coil. Already we know that E equal to L di by dt. L di by dt. See what is di? Change in current through the coil in a commutation. The di value becomes a 2I. Because initially the coil is carrying a current of I amperes minus the final current in the coil becomes a minus I amperes. Now this value becomes a 2I amperes. 2I amperes. That's why the di value becomes a 2I that we have taken in the numerator. TC is nothing but a commutation time. Already we have seen we have defined the commutation time. Now we are going to calculate this commutation time. Later section. So before going to that one, linear commutation. Linear commutation is nothing but the current in the coil will be changing linearly from positive value to the negative value. Nothing but in this manner. This is positive, this is negative value. It will be changing linearly. This is plus I, whereas this is the minus I. If the current changes linearly, this is the formula L equal to 2I by TC. The TC we are going to see how we are going to calculate the TC. Next, if the commutation is sinusoidal commutation, nothing but this change in current, this is This is positive value of current. This is a negative value of current. Sinusoidal commutation is nothing but it will be changing as a sinusoidal. This is the zero value of current. That is the difference. If the current in the coil is changes as a sinusoidal, the type of commutation is nothing but a sinusoidal commutation. In that case, we have to use this formula to find the reactance voltage, that is equal to 1 L 2I and Tc. So now we are going to see how we are going to calculate this Tc. The total change in current becomes a 2I. See, here we are defining the width of the brush, width of the mica. If you observe, means in the diagram, this is the commutator segments. These are the commutator segments. Each segment is insulated. This is one commutator segment. This is another commutator segment. Each segment is insulated by the insulating material. Now on this commutator segment, we are keeping the brush. This is the brush. W suffix B is nothing but width of the brush, nothing but this length. WB. WM is nothing but width of the mica, nothing but this one, this length. This is nothing but width of the mica. The width of the mica there on a commutator. On the commutator, the brushes are there. On the commutator, the brushes are there. Now, commutation time equal to width of the brush minus width of the mica divided by the Vc, where Vc is nothing but a peripheral velocity of a commutator segment. See, here we are using the peripheral velocity of a commutator segment. How we are going to this peripheral velocity of a commutator segment? Suppose if we take the DC generator is running at a speed of 1500 rpm, some speed. The speed of generator, take the speed of generator is n, that may be the 1500 rpm or some 1600 rpm or 1400, whatever it is. See, here we have taken the speed of armature as a n. N value in a rpm, revolution per minute. In one revolution, how much time is taken by the armature? Now T equal to 60 by n. Because n value in a revolution per minute, now we are going to calculate the how much time for the one complete revolution. One complete revolution. See here, if the armature is complete in the figure, this commutator also will be completing the one revolution. The commutator also will be completing the one revolution. Nothing but this time is nothing but this time is equal to the time required to complete the one revolution of the commutator. One revolution of the commutator. In one revolution of the commutator, how much distance it is moved means that is pi into d. Distance moved by the commutator, pi into d, where d is nothing but a diameter of the commutator. This one, this diameter d, this diameter of the commutator. In one revolution, nothing but a 2 pi r pi d, this much of distance is traveled by the commutator, divided by the this time 60 by n, the peripheral velocity. Already we know that velocity is nothing but a distance by time. Peripheral velocity nothing but a pi d by 60 by n. If you simplify this one, we are getting the expression as a pi d n divided by 60 where D is nothing but a diameter of the commutator, where N is nothing but a speed of armature, nothing but a speed of a commutator. So remaining two are the constant. In this manner, we are going to calculate the peripheral speed of a commutator. Once you know the peripheral speed, then we can calculate the commutation time. That value we are going to substitute. Once you know this value, then we are going to substitute here. We are going to substitute this. Then we know the reactance voltage which is opposing the reversals of current in the commutated coil. Types of commutation. There are three types of commutations are there. One is linear commutation. Already we know the linear commutation. The current in the coil will be changing linearly from the positive value to the negative value. That is shown in the figure. This one, linear commutation. The second one is the under commutation, nothing but a delay commutation. Delay commutation is nothing but a, even the brush is leaving the commutation coil, the current in the commutation coil is not reaches the negative maximum value. See here, this one. Actually, this is the negative maximum value. This is the negative maximum value. But the commutation time is over. Nothing but a brush is left the in a resistance commutation. Now we are going to see the resistance commutation. Here we have considered three coils, coil 1, coil 2, coil 3. The three coils are connected to the commutator segments. The brush is positioned here. So whenever here, there are two ways to manufacture this brush with a copper or the carbon brush. Suppose here, if we made this brush with a copper, it offers a low amount of resistance. The I amperes of current is coming directly here. Remaining I amperes of current is coming from the coil 1 here. Then no current is flowing through the coil 2. So whenever we are making a carbon brush, it offers a high amount of resistance. Current always try to flow only in the low resistance path. So when we made this brush with carbon, it offers a high amount of resistance. See here, X amount of current will be flowing through the coil 2. X amount of current will be flowing through the coil 2. That is added to the coil 1. Nothing but here, I plus X amount of current is coming here. I minus X amount of current is coming here. The total current becomes a 2I. The X amount of current is flowing through the coil 2. That is only because of the brush is made up of the carbon, which offers a high resistance, So whenever we are using a high resistance brush here means the current in the commutator coil will be reaching the negative maximum value. Negative maximum value. So in this manner, you can make the current flowing through the commutation coil reaches the negative maximum value by selecting the brush material that is with a carbon. That is with a carbon. So that is the reason that we are using the carbon here. Otherwise, if you go for the copper, then it is a low resistance. The commutation coil may not reaches the negative maximum value. Negative maximum value. In this method, copper brushes are replaced by the carbon brushes. It has a high resistance so that current in the commutation coil reaches the negative maximum value. Advantages. They have a high contact resistance which is useful for having a good commutation. Good commutation is nothing but no spark is occurs between the brush as well as the commutator. Next, they lubricant and polish the commutator as it rotates. Once the armature is rotating, the carbon is a lubricant so that it is polishing the commutator segment. Next, in the event of sparking, carbon brushes damages less when compared to the copper brushes. Copper brushes. Now we are going to see the brush shifting method. Brush shifting method. In this method, we are shifting the brush position. Actually, the brushes are placed on the magnetic neutral axis. This is the magnetic neutral axis, M and A. Now, we are changing the brush position. So, whenever we are changing the brush position here, now the conductors will be commutating at this position. The conductors will be commutating at this position. When the coil is undergoing for the commutation, there is a reactance voltage is there because of a self-inductance of the coil. So whenever we change the brush position, the conductors are linking with some amount of the flux. The conductors are linking with some amount of flux. There is some dynamically induced voltage in the coil. See here, it is very important. Reactance voltage. Another one is dynamically induced voltage. Dynamically induced voltage due to the main flux. Due to the main flux. The both gets cancelled. The reactance voltage is there in the coil because of a changing of current. The dynamically induced voltage is there in the coil because of shifting of the brush position. These two gets cancelled. Once these two voltages gets current in the coil, so the current in the commutation coil will be reaches to the negative maximum value in the specific commutation time. But here, one disadvantage is there. The dynamically induced voltage in the coil, is highly depending upon the value of the flux. The dynamically induced voltage in the coil is highly depending upon the value of the flux. Whereas the reactance voltage, here the one more quantity also there, that is reactance voltage. The reactance voltage is depending upon the two parameters. One is armature current, another one is L value. That we have seen previously. Nothing but there is no specific relation between these two quantities. The dynamically induced voltage in the coil, that is another compensating voltage for the reactance voltage. whereas the reactance voltage is depending upon the current and the self-inductance of the coil, whereas the dynamically induced voltage is highly depending on the flux. There is no link between these two. There is no link between these two. The reactance voltage is depending on some other parameters, whereas the dynamically induced voltage is depending upon the other parameter. There is no link between these two. So the compensating winding may not exactly compensating the reactance voltage. May not exactly compensating the reactance voltage. Suppose here we are giving the brush shift of 10 degrees. We are assuming that we are giving the brush shift of 10 degrees. Because of the 10 degrees brush shift, the voltage induced in the dynamically induced voltage in the coil becomes a 10 volts. Means if the current in the coil, if you are taking the current in the coil is 2 amperes, then the reactance voltage may be the 8 volts. Suppose the current in the coil may change it to the 20 amperes also. It may goes to the 20 amperes as the load is increases. As the load is increased. If the current through the coil is increases, the reactance voltage will be increases, but the dynamically induced voltage will be the same, that is the 10 volts only. It may not sufficiently compensate the reactance voltage. May not sufficiently compensate the reactance voltage because it is depending some other parameters, whereas dynamically induced voltage depending upon some other parameters. This method was used in olden days only. Nowadays we are not using this method. In this method, the reverse voltage is induced in the commutating coil to neutralize the reactance voltage by shifting the brush position in the direction of the rotation. The compensating voltage is proportional to the field flux, whereas the reactance voltage depending upon the armature current. Nothing but it may not be compensated properly the reactance voltage. There some amount of voltage will be there in a commutating coil that may opposes that may delay the commutation process. This method is suitable for the small machines only. Nowadays we are not using this method also. It is a old method. Interpoles. This is another method which is coming under the voltage commutation. It is also coming under the voltage commutation. Interpoles. Interpoles are nothing but auxiliary poles. So these are the main poles. These are the main poles. Between the main poles, we are keeping the interpoles. We are keeping the interpoles. Now the coil is commutated at this point on the magnetic neutral axis. Here we are assuming that here coil is there, which is going for the commutation at the magnetically neutral axis. So when the coil is going to the commutation, there is a one voltage induced in a coil, that is the reactance voltage. The one more voltage also will be induced in the coil, that is dynamically induced voltage due to the interpole flux. So because of the interpoles, there is some amount of voltage will be induced in a commutating coil. That voltage is nothing but a dynamically induced voltage in the coil due to the interpole flux that opposes the nothing but that cancels the reactance voltage exactly. So there is no opposition for the current in the commutating coil. So when the commutation process is completed, the current in the coil will be reaching the negative maximum value. This method is nothing but interpoles. So once again repeating the same. In this method, auxiliary poles are placed between the main pole. This is the magnetic neutral axis. At the magnetic neutral axis, the coil is going to the commutated. When the coil is going to the commutated, there is one type of voltage there, that is the reactance voltage. One is reactance voltage. Now we have to cancel this reactance voltage. How we are going to cancel this reactance voltage means to induce a one more voltage in the same coil because of a interpole flux. Because of the interpole flux, that voltage is nothing but a dynamically induced voltage in coil due to the interpole flux. Now this voltage is exactly opposite this one. It will be cancel this one. So there is no voltage induced in a commutating coil. There no voltage will be induced in a commutating coil. It exactly opposes the reactance voltage. So there is no opposition for the current reversals in a commutating coil. So why this dynamically induced voltage due to the interpole flux exactly cancel the reactance voltage means this reactance voltage is depending upon the I, nothing but armature current. The same amount of current we are sending to the interpoles also. The interpoles are connected in series with the armature. As the armature current is increases, reactance voltage will be increases. The dynamically induced voltage also will be increases. So exactly this voltage will be cancel the reactance voltage. So there is no voltage in a commutating coil. So the current reversals will be changes during the stipulated time. In this method, auxiliary poles are placed at the brush axis as shown in the figure. When the coil is undergoing for the commutation, the dynamically induced voltage due to the interpole flux which exactly compensates the reactance voltage. This method is used for the large machine. This method is not suggested for the low rating of the machine because it is costly. Summary. Up to here we have studied about the commutation. Commutation is nothing but a process in which the current in the coil will be changing from the positive value to the negative value. During the commutation time. That is nothing but commutation. Because of the commutation only, the load is getting the DC voltage even though the voltage induced in armature coil becomes a AC voltage. Next, reactance voltage. This is the voltage induced in a commutating coil because of a self-inductance of a coil. When the current is changing from the positive value to the negative value, which opposes the change in current in a commutating coil, which makes the commutation process delay. This is the reactance voltage. It is highly depending upon the self-inductance of the coil, whereas the change in current, and one more parameter is the commutation time. Next, how we are going to improve this commutation method means basically there are two methods are there. One is resistance commutation, another one is the EMF commutation. In case of resistance commutation, we are selecting a brush material as a carbon which has a high resistance when compared to the copper, so that the current, the commutating coil may reach the negative maximum value if you use the carbon brushes. And EMF commutation, in the method of EMF commutation, we are inducing a voltage in the commutating coil which exactly neutralizing the reactance voltage. Under this, there are two methods are there. One is shifting of brush axis, another one is the interpoles. The shifting of brush axis also, there is a dynamically induced voltage in the commutating coil because of the main flux, which may opposes the reactance voltage, but it is not a perfect method. If you go for the interpole method, the interpoles, auxiliary poles are placed in the DC machine. Because of the auxiliary poles, there is a dynamically induced voltage in the coil which may exactly opposes the reactance voltage, which improves the commutation process of a DC machine. Thank you.